Welcome to your source for research, innovation, news, insights, and commentary. This is Your Research Business Daily Report, where we're sponsored today and this week by Socratic Technologies, whose proprietary tools and methodologies tackle marketing complexities so that you can make more confident business decisions. Consumers resent, in fact, they're really put off when they think their privacy is being violated online, right? Well, yes, but Communispace conducted an online survey with 8,000 individuals last year, and 87% of them did seem pretty stern about protecting their privacy. In fact, they said they'd love to be able to enable or to click a Do Not Track button if it was made available. And 30% of them said they'd be willing to pay a premium in order to stop marketers from capturing their data. But Communispace dug a little deeper. And in fact, they discovered that 60% of millennials are willing to share their data in exchange for coupons or promotions, and a not very heavy coupon or promotion. 70% of them said they'll share their data for a 5% discount. So on the one hand, Communispace is analyzing that this may reflect consumers being out of touch with the real value of their personal information to marketers. But balance that with this percentage. 24 of the respondents in this study, that's 24%, say they're interested in announcing their shopping interest to select vendors and then inviting them to bid for their business. Another survey that got my attention came from Facebook and GfK, which studied the use of online devices as those consumer choices continue to really proliferate. 2,400 adults participated in this study. 60% of them say they use at least 2 devices a day. More than 40% say they use 3 devices a day. Now, of those using 2, a little more than half of them say they begin a task on one device and finish it on another. That switching behavior jumps to 77% for those individuals who have 3 devices. And here's another interesting point about the switching. It usually starts with the use of a smaller screen device and concludes with the use of a much larger screen device. Finally, when Nielsen received FTC approval to close on its acquisition of Arbitron earlier this year, one of the really big third-party winners was ComScore. That's because the government forced Nielsen to provide ComScore with access to Arbitron PPM data for at least the next 8 years. We asked ComScore Executive Chairman Jan Fulgoni to explain exactly what ComScore and ESPN will be able to provide going forward. Jan?
Thanks, Bob. So what I'd like to chat about this morning in my 2 minutes is what we're finding as a result of the cross-platform system called Project Blueprint that we built for ESPN. Now, cross-platform can mean, I think, maybe different things to different people. You've got cross-platform in a digital sense, which is desktop, the phone, and tablets. And then you've got cross-platform in an expanded sense when you add in television and radio. And about a year and a half, I got a call from Artie Bulgren at ESPN asking if we at ComScore would build out a 5-platform system for them. And one of the things that Artie said that was interesting, and because we had been finding the same thing in our research, is that if you take a given number of ad impressions and you deliver them on one medium versus taking the same number of impressions and delivering them across media, you'll find that you'll get a greater sales impact from the latter. So it's pretty important for any publisher that's providing content across platform to really understand what the overlap of their audiences are. And that's the challenge. How do you measure the unique audience within each platform and then the way that the audiences build up over time? Interestingly, I'd go back to my stats courses here to figure this out. But if you have 5 platforms, you have 31 different combinations of those platforms. So it can be a big challenge to measure the overlap of the audiences when you want to go down to the individual ad level or the individual show level. What we had to do was to build it with really new technology, a panel, which has been the mainstay of media measurement for decades. Panels are necessary but not sufficient when you need to do this at scale. And we had to develop a whole host of new technology. We're using about 5 million set-top boxes from satellite providers, cable companies, and the like. We had to use IP addresses to stitch across devices. We had to use cookies We had to use our multi-platform database, Media But when all was said and done, after about a year, we built it. And some of the things that we're seeing are very, very interesting. For example, it's pretty clear that the duplication across these devices builds up over time in different ways for different demo segments. So you'll find that millennials will have a very different pattern of cross-platform usage than baby boomers, for example. We've also found, and maybe this is the most important thing of all, if you look at the way that media planners, in the absence of cross-platform data, the way that they compute the overlaps, they have a formula that they use. It's almost like a random allocation of the audiences. When we compared what we actually were getting in Project Blueprint with the overlap that you'd get if you were to look at these kind of assumption-based computations, they were night and day. It just really didn't compare. And I think that to me was the most important point. What it says is that if you need to measure cross-platform usage today, as I think most, if not all, advertisers and publishers need to do, you really have to have a cross-platform system that does it. You just can't take siloed media measurements within each medium and try to make assumptions about what the overlap is. So when all is said and done, we built it. We're now rolling it out. And I think that the industry is going to benefit immensely from the use of all these data. Those are my 2 minutes. Thanks for the invitation, Bob.
Again, we thank Jan Fulgoni for his time and his comments. If you'd like to reach out to him, here's his email address. It's jan@fulgoni.net. That's your Research Business Daily Report, sponsored by Socratic Technologies, whose proprietary tools and methodologies tackle marketing complexities so that you can make more confident business decisions. Have yourself a great research day, and please join us back here tomorrow.